Hello and welcome to the Grandfather's Cave. In this video, we are going to dive deeper into character creation by taking a look at two iconic characters in Dungeons & Dragons, the Warrior and the Wizard. We will be exploring how these two classes function in my customized edition of the Dungeons & Dragons game that I call the Avern Fantasy Role-Playing Game, which is heavily inspired by Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 and Pathfinder. I have added a link to a PDF in the description of this video that details all the features of both the Warrior and the Wizard, as well as the Cleric and Scoundrel, which I covered in a previous video. Now let's roll initiative and let's get started. First on our list is the Warrior. These stalwart champions are masters of combat and defenders of their allies, and often the first to charge into battle. Now let's break down the key features of the mighty Warrior. Warriors are morally flexible and can be of any alignment, and at the same time they are extremely resilient. They have a d10 hit dice and a +3 stamina bonus when they reach level 11 and onwards. Their class skills are Athletics, Perception, and Survival. Warriors are proficient with all martial weapons and all simple weapons, and in addition they also gain proficiency with light and medium armor, as well as both light, heavy shields, and bucklers. The Warriors of Avern Fantasy are heavily inspired by the fighters of the Pathfinder fantasy game. As such, one of their mainstay features is the great number of combat feats that they have available. They gain a bonus combat feat at first level, and one additional combat feat at every even level afterwards. In addition, Warriors have the best attack bonus available in the game. They start at a +1, and at 20th level they reach a +20. Their best saves are the Fortitude saves, but they are lacking in both Reflex and Will saves. The Avern combat rules is centered around a 2-action economy. Normally during a round, characters have either 2 single actions or a double action, in addition to an unlimited number of individual free actions. And while a character can perform 2 single action attacks in a round, a second attack with such a single action incurs what is called a follow-up attack penalty. The follow-up attack penalty is a flat -5. But with the Alacrity feature that Warriors gain at 2nd level, they start reducing the follow-up attack. Thus, at 2nd level, that penalty drops to a -4, and at every 5 levels thereafter, it is reduced by 1 additional point. At 3rd level, Warriors get the Tenacious feature. In addition, they gain additional Tenacious features at level 7, 11, 14, and 19. Every time a Warrior gets the Tenacious feature, they can choose one from a number of conditions, and whenever they are afflicted with this condition, they may actually ignore the penalties of it. So, while the Warrior still gains the condition and might risk having it escalate to a worse condition, they do not suffer any penalties from that particular condition that they have chosen. This allows the Warrior to shrug off adverse effects and be less affected by hardship during combat. At 4th level, they gain Armor Specialization. Armor Specialization decreases the armor check penalty of the armor they are wearing, while it at the same time increases the damage absorption of the armor. The interactions of damage absorption and armor class will be discussed further in a future video about armor, weapons, and equipment. Armor Specialization gains further improvements at 9th, 13th, and 17th level. At 6th level, Warriors gain Weapon Specialization. When they gain Weapon Specialization, they choose one weapon group and increase their attack bonus and their damage rolls, and gain a +1 bonus on attack and weapon damage rolls of that weapon group. Weapon Specialization improves at 10th, 14th, and 18th level, at which point their chosen weapon of specialization gains an improved bonus, and they may add additional weapon groups to their specialization. At 20th level, a Warrior chooses one specific type of weapon, like a longsword, or a great axe, or a greatsword. Whenever they use this weapon, they always score a critical hit when they make an attack roll within the critical threat range of their weapon. In addition, the damage multiplier of critical hits with that weapon is increased by 1. Thus, a Warrior that has gained mastery with a longsword would automatically score a critical hit on a 19 or a 20 and would deal triple damage with such attacks. Now let's shift our focus to the Arcane arts. Wizards with their tomes of power and mastery over magic bring a different kind of power to our adventures. Like Warriors, Wizards don't have any alignment limitations. They are the least resilient characters among the base classes, with only a d6 for hit die and a +1 stamina bonus at 11th level and beyond. For class skills, they have Arcana, Culture, Engineering, Mercantile, Mysticism, and nature. This gives wizards access to all fields of lore. Wizards are only proficient with simple weapons and gain no proficiency with either armor or shields. As for spellcasting, they use intelligence. Intelligence determines the number of bonus spells a wizard can prepare each day, as well as modifying the spell power check of their spells. Wizards have spellbooks, and high intelligence gives a starting wizard access to additional spells of rank 0 and rank 1. As mentioned before, wizards do not have proficiency with armor. That, however, does not prevent a wizard from donning armor and casting spells successfully with armor. However, all armors have armor check penalties, and these apply to the spell power checks for all arcane spells. Thus, wearing armor comes with its own inherent risks for wizards, and wizards gain a bonus language. This is either Aesir, which is the ancient language of the Old High Elves, Old Common, or Netherix, which is a language that was used by evil wizards from ages past. A wizard with a sufficiently high secondary stat may qualify to become a specialist within one of the 8 arcane magic schools. Thus, while a wizard needs to have a high intelligence, if they in addition have a high presence of 15 or higher, they would be able to become conjurers or enchanters. And likewise, you would be able to become an illusionist if you had a high dexterity, or a necromancer if you had a high wisdom. Wizards without a specialization school are just called mages. Specialist wizards specialize in one arcane school at the expense of another school. When using spells from within their specialization, they gain a bonus on power checks and have a much easier time learning those spells. Conversely, they gain a penalty whenever they try to cast spells from their opposition school, and they find it much harder to learn these spells. On top of that, they gain a power that reflects the essence of their school of specialization. Thus, an abjurer gains resistance. Creatures summoned by a conjurer will remain for a much longer time. Diviners are extremely hard to surprise and catch with their guard down. Enchanters gain a significant bonus when using the social skill, and illusions cast by illusionists also last for a longer time than they do for other spellcasters. Invokers deal more damage with evocation spells. Necromancers have the power to turn or command the undead, just as clerics do, and transmuters may enhance their physical form. While mages who do not specialize in any arcane school do not get powers tied to any school, they become very adept at using eldritch spells. Eldritch spells is what in early editions of Dungeons & Dragons and in Pathfinder was called metamagic spells. I never really liked the metamagic name, thus I have changed it to Eldritch. It has a better flavor and also ties in with one of the other class features of the wizards, which I will get into in a moment. Wizards gain the Eldritch Search feature. This allows the wizard to tap into raw, unadulterated magical energies. This they can use to enhance the caster level of their spells, but for every caster level that they wish to increase the power of their spell, the spell power check suffers a -2 penalty. Thus, when they use the Eldritch Search, they have the potential of creating very powerful spells, but their risk of failure also becomes greater. Using an Eldritch Search causes health damage to the wizard, and on a natural 1 on the spell power check, the wizard becomes tainted by the magic. Taint has permanent negative effects on the wizard, and while the taint for low level spells might just be a minor inconvenience, it can be extremely destructive for high level spells. At 2nd level, wizards learn to scribe scrolls, and at 5th level, they learn to brew potions. At level 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20, a wizard gains bonus spells, which they can use to learn Eldritch feats. How these Eldritch feats work, I will expand upon in a future video about feats, skills, and the fate system. Another thing that makes wizards special in the Avern fantasy game is that when they reach 6th level, they start to acquire what I call lesser arcane powers. They gain 1 at 6th level, 1 at 10th, but also 1 at 14th, at 18th. And those later arcane powers may actually be greater arcane powers. I will not get into the nitty-gritty details of these arcane powers, but I will name them now so that you have an idea of what sort of powers that those might be. Lesser arcane powers are Distinct Voice, Divine Magic, Eldritch Heritage, Fast Preparation, Glowing Footsteps, Innate Spell Power, Iron Stone, Sparkles, Special Eyes, Staff Defense, and Staff Initiate. The greater arcane powers that are available from 14th level are Disdain Need, Display Power, Feral Speech, Magic Touch, Major Innate Spell, Name of Power, Perfect Ironstone, Staff Adept, Wand Master, Staff Master, and Touch Not the Earth. I encourage you to rewind this video and pause it if you want to read the description of these arcane powers. But even better, you could go into the description of this video and get a link for the PDF where you can get all this information. With that, the exploration of the warrior and wizards comes to a close. And in addition, that also finishes the introduction to the base classes in the Avern Fantasy RPG. Remember, you can find all the information about these iconic classes in the description of this video. In the next video, we'll examine the specialist classes of the Avern Fantasy RPG. If you enjoyed the content of this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so that you don't miss out on future videos about the Bard, Barbarian, the Druid and the Monk, and the Paladin and the Ranger. And before you leave, please take a moment to leave a comment. I would love to hear your thoughts about these two iconic classes. Is one of these classes your favorite? And what do you particularly like about that class? Until next time, keep playing.